Welcome to the Memory Book. I'm Carol. This channel is dedicated to preserving the stories of extraordinary lives that deserve to be remembered with love and respect. Here, we honor unforgettable figures from film, music, television, and culture, reflecting on their journey, their influence, and the legacy they left behind. Every tribute helps keep their memory alive for generations to come. Greer Garson passed away at 91, and 3 decades on, her presence in classic Hollywood cinema still feels remarkably vivid. She emerged as one of the defining stars of the 1940s, an era when films carried both emotional weight and a sense of collective escape. Known for her elegance and emotional intelligence on screen, she brought depth to roles that often required both strength and sensitivity. Over the course of her career, she received 7 Academy Award nominations for Best Actress, reflecting a rare consistency in both critical and audience appreciation. Her most celebrated performance came in Mrs. Miniver, 1942, where she portrayed a quiet resilience during wartime, a role that resonated deeply with audiences and earned her an Academy Award. Beyond that single triumph, Garson's body of work continued to reflect warmth, dignity, and emotional clarity. Even today, her films remain a touchstone for viewers who value classic storytelling, reminding us that true screen presence does not fade easily, but lingers through generations of cinema lovers. Ernie Anastas has passed away at a hospital in Mount Kisco, New York, at the age of 82 due to pneumonia. For many years, he was a steady and trusted presence in New York broadcasting, known for delivering the evening news with a calm demeanor and a strong sense of credibility. Viewers who tuned into stations like WABC and WCBS came to recognize him as a reassuring voice during moments when clear and reliable reporting mattered most. Over the course of his career, Anastas became known not only for covering the day's events, but also for the way he carried himself on screen, measured, composed, and deeply professional. His communication style earned him the trust of audiences who valued clarity in an often fast-moving news landscape. In later years, he shifted his focus toward a different kind of storytelling through a nationally syndicated radio program and podcast. Instead of emphasizing conflict and negativity, he chose to highlight uplifting stories centered on kindness, resilience, and everyday hope. This approach reflected his belief that news could also serve as a source of encouragement rather than only concern. Ernie Anastas leaves behind a legacy shaped by both traditional journalism and a more human-centered perspective on storytelling. He will be remembered as a broadcaster who not only informed the public, but also reminded them of the importance of optimism and compassion in daily life. DJ Dan, also known as DJ Daniel Ware, passed away at the age of 57, leaving behind a strong imprint on the evolution of electronic music. As a pioneering force in West Coast house, DJ Dan helped shape a sound that brought warmth, rhythm, and high-energy movement to dance floors across clubs and festivals. His approach to production carried a distinct personality, blending playful elements with driving beats that made his sets instantly recognizable. Over the years, he became a respected figure within the global DJ community, admired for both consistency and creativity. Tracks such as Phone Track and Zipper Track became underground favorites, often defining peak moments in late-night sets and rave culture. Beyond individual releases, his influence extended through countless performances that helped shape the identity of American house music. Even as trends shifted, his sound remained relevant, continuing to inspire newer generations of DJs and producers who look to his work as a foundation for groove-driven electronic music. His legacy lives on through the energy he brought to dance culture worldwide. 20 years ago this week, the world lost Buck Owens, who passed away at 76, leaving behind a legacy that helped define modern country music. He was more than a chart-topping artist. He was a voice that captured ordinary emotions with uncommon clarity. His songs carried a straightforward honesty that made listeners feel seen, whether they were celebrating love, dealing with heartbreak, or simply getting through daily life. With a remarkable run of success, he delivered 14 consecutive hits, including Act Naturally and I've Got a Tiger by the Tail, each reflecting his signature blend of energy and sincerity. His sound was stripped of excess, yet rich in feeling, making it instantly recognizable. Beyond music, he also connected with audiences on television through Hee-Haw, where his humor and easygoing charm made him a familiar presence in homes across America. Even today, his influence continues to echo through country music carried forward by artists who value storytelling grounded in truth and simplicity. His legacy remains deeply woven into the genre's history. Andy Kershaw was more than a radio presenter. He changed the way listeners discovered music by opening doors to sounds far beyond mainstream charts. His broadcasting style was bold, curious, and deeply personal, often highlighting artists and traditions ignored by commercial media. Born in 1959 in Littleborough, he grew up in a disciplined academic setting, but was drawn early to music and storytelling rather than formal study. At the University of Leeds, he became involved in concert promotion and encountered emerging bands, shaping his future path in broadcasting. His breakthrough came through the Old Grey Whistle test, later followed by BBC Radio 1, where he built a reputation alongside figures like John Peel, while focusing heavily on global music from Africa, the Caribbean, and folk traditions worldwide. He also contributed to major events like Live Aid and reported from significant international situations, showing both cultural passion and journalistic depth. Despite personal and health challenges, he continued sharing music with audiences until later in life, passing away at 66 after cancer. His influence remains through his fearless commitment to authentic, borderless music discovery. Sally Field is often remembered as one of the most versatile and emotionally transparent performers in American cinema. A career shaped by television charm, dramatic intensity, and award-winning transformation. Yet, her story is not only about fame or recognition, it is also about endurance, reinvention, and the long process of learning how to inhabit her own life as fully as the characters she portrayed. From early television roles that cast her as an emblem of innocence, to later performances that exposed raw psychological depth, her journey reflects the shifting expectations placed on women in Hollywood across decades. Over time, she moved beyond being seen as a wholesome presence on screen and became an actor capable of carrying grief, anger, resilience, and vulnerability in equal measure. Her work in projects such as Gidget, The Flying Nun, Norma Ray, and Places in the Heart revealed an evolving artistic identity grounded in emotional truth rather than image. Behind the public recognition, however, her life also included periods of personal struggle, difficult transitions, and complicated relationships that shaped her understanding of love, identity, and independence. The story of Sally Field is ultimately one of transformation, where personal experience and artistic expression became deeply intertwined, producing a legacy defined not only by awards, but by emotional authenticity that continues to resonate across generations. Early years and a quietly complicated childhood. Born in 1946 in Pasadena, California, Sally Field grew up in a household that appeared stable from the outside, but carried emotional distance within its walls. Her parents divorced when she was very young, and the separation altered the foundation of her early childhood. Her mother later remarried, and her stepfather's presence introduced further complexity into her home life. Like many children navigating fractured family structures, she experienced shifts in stability, attention, and emotional availability that left lasting impressions. Her mother's work in the entertainment industry meant frequent absences, while her stepfather's personality contributed to a household atmosphere that felt inconsistent and difficult to interpret. In later reflections, Field described growing up with feelings of isolation and confusion, where emotional needs were often unspoken and unanswered. These experiences did not define her future, but they influenced her sensitivity and capacity for emotional expression, qualities that would later become central to her acting. The absence of consistent emotional grounding also encouraged her imagination as a form of refuge, allowing her to observe, absorb, and eventually perform the complexities of human feeling. Even as a child, she developed an internal world that helped her process what could not be openly addressed, laying the foundation for a career built on emotional honesty, formative struggles, and the search for voice. As she entered adolescence, Sally Field's environment became more emotionally demanding, and she later described experiences in her memoir that reflected confusion, boundary violations, and a lack of protection during formative years. While the details of those experiences are deeply personal and have been shared in her own words, they point to a broader reality of emotional neglect and instability. What stands out most is not only the difficulty itself, but the silence surrounding it, and the absence of guidance at moments when support was most needed. This silence shaped her internal world, encouraging a form of emotional withdrawal that would later influence both her personal relationships and her acting method. Rather than expressing pain outwardly, she learned to internalize it, transforming lived experience into observation. School and performance classes offered brief moments of relief, where expression was encouraged rather than suppressed. Acting became less about ambition and more about survival, offering a structured space where emotion could be safely explored. These early encounters with performance allowed her to step outside herself while still processing inner reality. Over time, this relationship between identity and performance became foundational, forming the emotional discipline that would later distinguish her work in film and television. First steps into television and sudden visibility. Sally Field's entry into the entertainment industry came quickly, propelled by television opportunities that emphasized her youthful energy and natural presence. Her breakthrough role in Gidget introduced her as a symbol of carefree adolescence, capturing the spirit of a generation through light-hearted storytelling and charm. Audiences responded strongly to her warmth, and she soon became a familiar face in American households. This early success, however, also created a narrow framework for how she was perceived within the industry. She was often cast in roles that emphasized innocence, optimism, and simplicity, leaving little room for emotional complexity. The transition from aspiring performer to public figure happened rapidly, and with it came expectations that were difficult to escape. While fame provided opportunity and financial stability, it also introduced pressure to maintain a specific image. Behind the scenes, she was still developing her identity as an actor and as a young woman navigating adulthood. The contrast between public perception and private uncertainty created tension, motivating her to seek deeper artistic challenges. Even at this early stage, she demonstrated a desire to move beyond typecasting, sensing that her capabilities extended far beyond the roles she was being offered. Reinvention, risk, and the break from familiar roles. At the height of her early television fame, Field made a significant decision to step away from the roles that had defined her public identity. Leaving the flying nun behind, she chose uncertainty over stability, rejecting the comfort of steady work in favor of artistic growth. This period marked a turning point, as she enrolled in intensive acting training and began exploring more demanding emotional techniques. The transition was not easy, and it came with professional risk. Opportunities became less frequent, and industry confidence in her shifted as she moved away from the image that had made her famous. Yet this distance from Hollywood expectations allowed her to rebuild her craft from the ground up. She studied with acting mentors who encouraged emotional vulnerability and psychological depth, pushing her beyond the boundaries of television performance. During this time, she confronted personal doubts about whether she had made the right choice, as financial uncertainty and professional silence replaced earlier recognition. However, this phase also allowed her to rediscover her purpose as a performer. Rather than relying on charm or familiarity, she began cultivating authenticity, learning to access emotional truth in ways that would later define her most powerful performances. Transformation through Sybil and emotional depth. Field's performance in Sybil marked a dramatic shift in her career, establishing her as an actor capable of profound psychological range. The role required her to portray a young woman experiencing multiple identities as a result of severe trauma, demanding intense emotional flexibility and deep immersion. Rather than treating the performance as imitation, she approached it as embodiment, drawing on emotional discipline developed during her years of training. The result was a portrayal that resonated strongly with audiences and critics, earning her widespread recognition and an Emmy Award. More importantly, it redefined how she was perceived within the industry. She was no longer limited to light television roles, but was now recognized as a serious, dramatic actor, capable of carrying complex narratives. This transformation was not simply professional. It also reflected her evolving relationship with her own emotional history. The intensity of the role required her to confront difficult emotional spaces, which she channeled into performance with remarkable control. Sybil became a turning point that validated her decision to step away from comfort and pursue artistic depth, reinforcing the idea that vulnerability could be transformed into creative strength. Norma Rae and the assertion of artistic authority. With Norma Rae, Field reached a defining moment in her career, delivering a performance that combined emotional authenticity with social relevance. The film told the story of a working-class woman standing against labor injustice, and Field's portrayal captured both resilience and emotional strain. Her performance resonated widely, connecting personal struggle with collective experience. The role demanded physical and emotional commitment, and she fully immersed herself in the character's environment and emotional reality. The film's success at the box office and its critical acclaim culminated in her receiving the Academy Award for Best Actress, marking a milestone in her professional journey. This recognition was not simply an award but an affirmation of her artistic evolution. It demonstrated that her commitment to emotional truth had translated into cultural impact. The moment she accepted the award symbolized years of risk, uncertainty, and reinvention. Rather than reinforcing a manufactured image, the role and its recognition reflected a deeper alignment between her identity as a performer and her lived experience. Norma Rae became a defining statement of artistic authority, confirming her place among the most respected actors of her generation. Later, career and expanding range. Following her breakthrough successes, Field continued to expand her artistic range through roles that balanced emotional warmth with dramatic depth. In films such as Places in the Heart, she portrayed characters navigating hardship with resilience and quiet determination, earning her a second Academy Award. Her acceptance moment, marked by spontaneous emotion, reflected the accumulated weight of years spent striving for recognition and authenticity. Beyond awards, her later career included performances in ensemble films and dramatic works that showcased her versatility. In Steel Magnolias, she explored themes of friendship, loss, and emotional endurance, while in Mrs. Doubtfire, she contributed to a widely beloved family story that demonstrated her ability to move between genres. Her role in Forrest Gump further extended her reach into culturally significant cinema, connecting her to stories that achieved global impact. Across these projects, she maintained a consistent focus on emotional truth rather than spectacle. Her performances often centered on human relationships, internal conflict, and resilience in the face of change. This period of her career reinforced her reputation as an actor capable of grounding even the most varied narratives in emotional credibility and sincerity. Relationships, marriage, and emotional complexity. Field's personal relationships reflected both her longing for connection and the challenges of sustaining intimacy within the pressures of fame. Her first marriage, entered into at a young age, eventually ended as career demands and personal growth created distance between partners. While the relationship began with hope and family life brought moments of fulfillment, the demands of work and evolving identities led to separation. Later, her relationship with actor Burt Reynolds became one of the most publicly discussed aspects of her personal life. Their connection was intense and highly visible, shaped by both affection and emotional complexity. While it began with strong attraction and shared visibility in Hollywood, it also included periods of tension and imbalance, reflecting the challenges of maintaining equality within a highly competitive environment. Field has described these experiences with honesty, acknowledging both the emotional highs and the difficulties. Over time, she developed a more private approach to relationships, prioritizing emotional stability and self-awareness. These experiences contributed to her understanding that personal fulfillment could not be sustained through external validation alone, but required internal clarity and boundaries shaped by lived experience, reflection, maturity, and enduring presence. As Field moved into later stages of her career, her focus shifted toward reflection, mentorship, and continued artistic contribution. She remained active in film and television, taking on roles that reflected maturity and depth, rather than early career archetypes. Her work continued to emphasize emotional honesty, often portraying characters shaped by resilience and lived experience. Beyond acting, she also became a public voice on issues related to aging, identity, and creative longevity. Rather than retreating from the industry, she adapted to its changes, demonstrating that artistic relevance is not limited by age but expanded through experience. Her presence in contemporary projects reflects both continuity and evolution, as she continues to engage with stories that explore human complexity. Over time, she has come to represent not only a successful career, but also a model of persistence and reinvention. Her journey illustrates how personal history can inform artistic depth without defining limitation. Through decades of work, she has maintained a consistent commitment to emotional authenticity, ensuring that her contributions remain meaningful across changing cultural landscapes. Enduring legacy of truth and transformation. Sally Field's legacy rests on more than awards or memorable performances. It is rooted in the emotional truth she has brought to her work and the resilience that shaped her journey. Across television and film, she has portrayed characters who reflect vulnerability, strength, and transformation, often drawing from emotional depth that resonates universally. Her career demonstrates how artistic expression can evolve alongside personal experience, creating performances that feel both intimate and enduring. While her life has included periods of difficulty, reinvention, and reflection, these elements have contributed to the richness of her artistic voice rather than diminishing it. She remains a figure associated with authenticity, capable of bridging the gap between public recognition and private complexity. Her influence extends beyond specific roles, shaping expectations for emotional honesty in performance and expanding possibilities for women in Hollywood. Ultimately, her story is one of continuous becoming, where identity is not fixed but shaped through experience, choice, and resilience. In this sense, her legacy is not only cinematic but human, offering a portrait of a life lived in pursuit of truth, connection, and artistic integrity.